Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you again today. Now, today we're going to continue with the tenses. Yesterday we did the present tense, and today we're going to look at the past tense, the simple past tense and continuous. So I'm Mrs. Swart, and I'm going to be taking you through today's lesson. And it's actually so simple to remember what to apply when you learn the rules or when you look at for sort of tips that will assist you to get through this. And if you remember those little tips and you study that, you should be fine with your tenses. You shouldn't have any problems at all. So just a reminder again that you have three basic tenses. You have the present, now at this moment, past, which is yesterday, and future would be tomorrow. That's just really simplified. So we're going to look at the past tense, simple and the continuous form. The simple form, the past tense really is, the simple form is something like the boy walked home. You have it. Walked tells us that he did that. It's over. And this is the simple past tense, and it indicates that he walked home earlier, or he walked home yesterday, or somewhere in the past. So it really makes it very simple. I think you sometimes try to complicate your lives because you get asked to rewrite a tense, or a sentence in a tense, maybe in the past or the present, especially simple form or so. But if you take note, you'll see that they won't really give you a sentence and ask you to write it in, say, if it's a simple tense, then they won't necessarily tell you, oh, write it as continuous. That's not usually what's expected of you. Very often the changes you have to make are from the past, present to future. That's the sort of thing you need to know. So let's look at the simple past tense. This is the tense that's used most often to talk about the past, and it refers to things like there could be short, quickly finished events and actions. For example, she opened the door and she walked in. There could be longer actions and situations. For instance, I lived with my grandparents until I was 12. There could be repeated happenings. For instance, this child could say, I had a dog that I always took for walks. So that shows us I always took the dog for walks, that it's something that was repeated. To complete the sentences by writing the correct form of the verb in brackets to get the simple past tense, we must keep that really single words. We can't say, for instance, the sentence says, did go in brackets. Now remember that that is the form of the verb that they want you to give. They want you to give the correct form of those words. They don't want you to say, he did go into the theatre and he did find a seat. Although a lot of learners speak that way, but it's because it's not a language they're comfortable with. And if you're going to write it in simple past, you're going to just say, he went into the theatre and he found a seat. If we look at the second sentence, we live in that house long ago. It's in the past, so we can't say we live in that house. We have to say we lived in the house long ago. And then we put it into simple past. And you know what? The continuous tense isn't scary. It's not confusing at all. The continuous tense, if it has ing on the verb, then it is probably continuous. It's also known as progressive. Was and were plus ing are our past continuous forms. So just to give you an idea, we have the verb to be. If it was in present, it would be I am, he is, it is, you are, we are, and they are. But because we're busy with the past tense, it's I was, because it's in the past. He or she was, it was. You were, we were, and they were. Now, I want you to remember the form of the verb to be in the past tense because you're going to use it to write a past continuous tense. And if you remember that, then it's going to be so much easier because it would be the man, he was. So you need to know your pronouns once again. So our pronouns keep on popping out of the woodwork and reminding us that we need them. The past continuous tense is made by using was or were plus ing, the ing at the end of the sentence. It's most often used to talk about what was already happening at a specific moment in the past. Remember that, something that was happening sometime in the past. The man was singing. The children were listening. So we see was and were plus the ing on singing and listening. It's also used to talk about temporary actions and situations. For example, it happened while I was walking to school. There we have the was and the ing. It could be for descriptions. We can see at the school. She was wearing a coat. If it was present tense, and please be careful when you do the quiz, because I've put in some present tense responses as well, just like a little red herring to throw you off the track, because we are busy with past tense, not with present. So remember when you do the quiz, she was wearing the coat. If it was present tense, we would say she is wearing a coat. Now, you have to write the correct form of the verb in brackets for the past continuous. So what's that? Was or were and ing. My mom cooked supper when we got home. My mom was cooking. Now, you can't say my mom were cooking. Your mom's singular. She was cooking when we got home. You can see on the picture she has help. She has the children helping her. What you say to the teacher just now, but this is a question, so you won't find that that when we look at was or were, that it's going to be directly next to our verb with the ing. What were you saying to the teacher just now? So remember that it doesn't have to always be right next to the word with the ing, but when it's a question, you have to shuffle the words around a little bit to make sense. Otherwise, imagine you were to say what you were saying to the teacher just now. That makes no sense at all. So remember that when you do a question, and with our language that always has something that churns around the rules a little bit and changes them, that you always remember that we're going to find something that doesn't conform to what the rules say. Now you are going to practice. I've asked things that are in the slideshow. I want you to try the quiz and see if you can answer this accurately. It should say past tense and in simple and continuous. It shouldn't be the types of sentences, we did that before. But what you can also do is when you click on this link, you're going to go to the tenses, but the past tense, and everything's about past tense. Or you can go to the QR code, and in the QR code, you are going to also be able to get to the place where you need to complete the quiz. So please go there, try it. You should really try your very best, and you can always go back and you can go and do it again if you're not sure. So make sure that you try it and don't give up, because that's the way to study. Study this, learn the tips, and you're going to find that it's going to be very easy for you. Enjoy your afternoon. Thank you.